moving into here a little bit of football, baby. We already talked a little bit of scheduling, but it's time to talk some recruiting here as NC State football got its 12th and 13th commitment over the last week. Starting off with Colt Hauser, a three-star interior offensive lineman, part of 2027 class, based out of West Palm Beach, Florida, 6'3", 280. Had chose NC State over West Virginia, Duke, and UNC. Actually canceled the visits to Duke and UNC after committing and after his visit this past weekend in Raleigh. So huge get here for Coach Garrett Tujay, who is I think has easily over the years proved he's one of the best recruiters that we have for sure. And I think he's proven that and an ability to sniff out talent here. So, Ethan, what was your initial reaction to Cole Hauser hitting that red siren?
Well, I didn't know this, but his dad is a famous actor.
Yeah.
Cole.
Enlighten me.
Yeah, he is Rip Wheeler from the Tombstone franchise.
Yeah, his name is Cole Hauser, right?
His name is Cole Hauser. His son's Colt, but yeah, in the show he's Rip Wheeler. He's like got a main role. He was on Yellowstone for 6 years, and now he's on the new spinoff Dutton Ranch.
Sick.
Okay.
And his mom
that's fun.
Yeah, and his mom was in. So you guys are too young to remember this book series. It was very popular amongst the girls when I was early teens. But Sweet Valley High. Have you ever heard of that book series by chance? Yeah, no. You guys are too young. Anyway, Sweet Valley High was
dinosaurs, Greg.
What's that? It was right around the dinosaurs. Yeah, right around them. Excuse me. But yeah, so that was a very popular book series, and his mom was in the TV version of that show in the early 90s. So yeah, famous family.
There you go.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I think anytime you can get a guy like that, it's fun. Get somebody.
We need to do a poll, like famous like
son.
Yeah. Famous son. Like obviously we had Randy Moss's kid for a couple of years. And now this, we got to go back and see if we can come up with maybe 3 or 4 names and, see who's the most popular, offspring of some of these famous people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's fun. I mean, you mentioned Tujay's pedigree on the recruiting trail. And I mean, to me, like he's such a grinder, right? And it really stands out. It feels like every year they're bringing in 4 or 5 kids, which out of high school, which you don't necessarily have to do. And then he goes out there and lands 2 or 3 in the portal every year. And so to me, he's a guy who's just always getting after it. And, landing those portal guys makes it harder for the guys who sign as freshmen to get into the starting lineup. But, it obviously creates competition. And so, Hauser's not a very highly ranked guy. Not at all. But you mentioned the offers, and I don't know. Like I watch film of all the commits and stuff. I'm certainly not a football film junkie or it's not something I know that well. But I think interior offensive lineman is probably one of the hardest to judge. And so I think from that perspective, you're looking for a lot of different things, a lot of things you can see in person, a lot of things that you can see in full games that you wouldn't necessarily see on a 4-minute highlight reel. So, look, again, interior offensive linemen, they're rarely going to be sexy. They're rarely going to be huge names or anything like that. So I think you feel good about what Tujay is doing and knowing that, he's going to put a ton of work in on the recruiting trail to put State in the best position to succeed.
Yeah, Preacher Man here in the chat reminding of a couple big names. Trot Nixon, obviously Luke Nixon's dad, and then Rafael Palmero, Preston Palmero's dad. So 2 other big names. Yeah, now, I mean, I still think that probably Randy Moss will probably be pretty tough to beat, I feel like, but,
Well, it's different that those are kids who played their dad's sport. I mean, Hauser's just his dad's a famous actor, so it's almost, famous dad, but like of a completely different category.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, that's true point. All right, and then Greg, I'll let you here jump in here on the other big commit here, but NC State landing 3-star safety Alex Scott from let's see, Lions, Georgia, chosen state over Tennessee, Texas A&M, were part of his offer sheet, and said that the coaching staff he feels like made him a priority. And so, with that commitment, now his state stands at 13 total commitments, stands at a top 30 class nationally right now. So, what kind of screams out to you, Greg, about this commit here with Alex Scott? Because I think maybe again, I think that still a lot of NC State fans say, "Hey, Greg, it'd be nice if we got a 4-star, commit." I feel like more than we have. It seems like a lot of
Yeah,
them reach 3 stars, but what's your
yeah.
thoughts on it?
I've made my thoughts before on the stars crap. If Alabama or Georgia were to offer this kid, he automatically becomes a 4-star. It's so subjective. It's random. We've talked about guys that have come in here with low stars and become first-round draft picks. I'm looking at you, Garrett Bradbury. I don't get hung up. I get hung up on the development of these kids and see what kind of players that they can be turned into. I leave all the eye test and all that to the professionals. I like Ethan, don't really get caught up in the, I enjoyed the game. I'm not a technician of the game, but guy coming in, top 50 at his position, whether, does he play free safety or strong safety? That kind of, remains to be seen. Probably, like, from some of the things that I've looked at and read, he's maybe more suited as a strong safety. Don't know how that looks as far as like the roster build as it stands today. But yeah, I think a guy that, can come in here and potentially compete and get better and stronger and, see where the chips may lie.
Yeah, Ethan. Go ahead, Ethan.
Well, I just want to throw out there, and people who have listened to me on IPS for years know this. I am a stars guy. I might be the biggest believer in the stars system.
Do they align for you?
Yeah, they align. Yeah. On NC State Twitter. I don't know. Like, again, not to say you're wrong, Greg. Like, absolutely,
No.
they have misses, and State, to their credit, has been right on a number of those guys. I do think that more, and there's absolutely politics involved, no question about that for me. But I do value, like, am I more excited about KJ Caldwell than Alex Scott because KJ Caldwell is a top 100 kid? Yeah, I absolutely am. Do I know anything about either of these two guys other than their offers and where they're ranked? No, but I like Caldwell more because he's ranked higher, and so I definitely think it's devalued. It's not a perfect system, but to me, I don't completely throw them away and just say, oh, it doesn't matter. I think it does matter. I think the numbers show that. Again, how much are the politics involved there? A lot. But
well, I mean, I'll give you Gunnar Rivers as a prime example. Like, they dropped him because, like, he came to State.
Yeah.
Let me
Well,
he was
like even said, that's the
4-star.
politics. That's the politics.
He was borderline 4-star, and then you drop him because like how does someone make a leap in the off? Like, I don't know.
Who dropped him? Do we know?
I think it was Rivals. And again, like, there's the other thing. Like, who do you subscribe to? Is it ESPN? Is it Rivals? Is it 247?
Yeah.
There's just so many different, it's, to me, again, like I said, it's so subjective because one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Right.
I don't know.
It's definitely subjective. I don't have a history of so I have 247. 247 jumped him actually when he committed to State. So let's see. He was
Take that, Greg.
But again, that just goes more to my point. If he gets risen by 247 and dropped by Rivals, tell me how it makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
That's what I just said. Another man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah. Yeah. When did he commit?
He committed
March?
on Alex Scott?
No, Rivers.
No, Rivers.
Oh, Gunnar Rivers. Yeah.
I felt like it was like March. February, March.
Yeah, it's been a couple months.
So his drop, he dropped on 247, which I assume was on 3, dropping him or Rivals, whatever. He dropped on February 24th. And so, yeah, so I think it was February 23rd he committed.
February 23rd he committed, yeah.
So, Yeah, that's again, I don't know. Like you'd have to get somebody on to explain that. Like that's
It
definitely
makes no sense. Why
it
on a
doesn't make
random
sense.
Tuesday does he get dropped a
Right.
level?
Right. And so
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't want to sit here and defend those guys. That's not what I'm trying to do.
No, I get you.
But yeah, weird like you said, 247 jumps him and Rivals drops him. That's how it goes. So I don't know, but again, we're gonna see. Are we gonna look back and say, "Oh, Gunnar Rivers was," if Gunnar Rivers gets drafted in 5 years, are we gonna look back and say, "Oh, they were right"? No, we never say that. We don't give them credit for getting Naheem Hines right, or Kentavious Street is the one I use. Right, Kentavious Street was a 4-star guy, didn't really produce at State ever, and ended up being a 3rd or a 4th round pick. So and
I'll
we're
throw a
never like,
name out
"Hey,
there.
they got
Yeah,
Kentavious Street right."
I mean, I'll throw a name out there. Like you guys may or may not remember him. I don't know, but Johnny Frazier.
Of course.
Greg, how old do you think we are, bro?
I was his
You
position
said you were like
manager,
12
dude.
last week.
Yeah, because remember when I was a football equipment manager, I was the running backs manager. Me and Des Kitchings were buddies, so I knew Johnny very well. So
Yeah, was he there during
yeah.
your time?
Yes.
Yeah, Johnny he was the same age as me. Still is.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, did you jump him in age?
As far as I know,
Yeah. No, again, I some sarcasm here, but yeah, I mean, he was a guy that definitely got wrong, right? But I mean, some of that's injury related, and you can't really project those and predict those type of things.
Yeah. So we'll just leave
We'll
the
leave that there.
past with Johnny. Yeah, unfortunately. But but hey, listen, we still got Naeem Hines and Reggie
Yeah.
Gillespie, all that class. So
Yeah.
I think we turned out pretty okay in the running back quadrant there. But yeah, so the one point I want to make about this though, and then we'll jump to another tweet here. But one thing that Stars does not take into account, character. There is no character grading on the stars list, and especially in today's day and age. Like, because here's the thing, Ethan. Like, if you get a 4-star guy, and especially a 5-star, if you're not playing him year one, he's probably going to transfer after that season,
Gone.
more than likely.
Mhm.
And so, a 3-star guy, if you get the right 3-star guy that you say, "I see potential in you," and on top of that too, he's a guy who's willing to develop, who's willing to get in the weight room, who's willing to watch film, who's willing to go to that he understands that guess what? That Pee Wee high school football that you're playing right now is nothing compared to the speed and the level that you'll play at in the college football game. It's just completely different. Understanding that, like that's I would rather have that all day long than have a guy who's taking up NIL money, who's taking up a roster spot when a year from now he's like at most a special teams guy, but you're whatever, and then after a year he leaves. So like I kind of honestly look at it. I still look at high school recruiting as like the want guys. Like I want Alex Scott. I want Colt Hauser because I see potential in them. And then you go get the needs. You go get I'm really lacking offensive line depth. I'm really lacking a star wide receiver. I'm going to go get that in the transfer portal. That's how I kind of view at kind of high school recruiting versus transfer portal is getting the want guys to build the foundation versus the need guys. So I'm in desperate need of some help in these areas. I'm going to go get that in the transfer portal to start that right here, right now. So just my 2 cents on it, So
No, I think that's exactly right. I think it's really hard to build a program consistent year in and year out through the portal. I think that's hard. The high school recruiting has to be the foundation of what you do. That's going to be your depth. Those are going to be your cheap players. Those are going to be your stars. I don't want to say it's impossible. It is very, very hard for NC State to land stars out of the portal, with their budget, for lack of a better, if you're not going to pour money into it, you can land stars out of the portal in basketball because you can land a Darion Williams because you're putting more money into basketball. That's not the case in football. And so that's kind of the way I think baseball is probably the same thing. Women's basketball, probably the same thing. Like it's so hard to land stars out of the portal because again, you're not at the top of the food chain in terms of money, and you've got to create those guys from your high school ranks. You have to. And could they end up getting poached from you? Yeah, absolutely. But that's the risk that you kind of have to take. And so I'm with you. Like you have to look to supplement out of the portal. But again, to me, you find your stars through high school recruiting.
Yep. Greg, any final point here before we move forward?
Yeah, again, you just even if the guys you don't hit, they go somewhere else, and they're a 3-star, 4-star guy that doesn't get playing time, and they enter the portal, then you can come back and sweep them through, much like you did a Hollywood and even why am I Rogers, those type of guys where you just build good relationships, and if you miss them on the first go around, you come back and get them on the cheap. Develop them, and then someone else take them. That's just how the cycle is going to work probably for NC State for the most part.
Because the biggest thing too, I think NC State fans need to remember is that not every player leaves or transfers out for the same reason. Like the reason why Noah Rogers is left is not the same reason Hollywood Smothers left. I can guarantee you that. So just wanted to kind of leave that here. But I do want to jump to, we already mentioned his name here, but Gunnar Rivers visiting this past weekend, and got him rocking the NC State jersey and rocking, what's that number, Greg? Is that the number 7? Or was there one?
No, I think it's 71.
Oh,
17.
71 at quarterback, Gunnar
Yeah.
Rivers. Yeah. Now, number 17, man. And because here's the thing that, Greg, I think that a lot of times, like, especially too with Gunnar Rivers, like, like it was kind of the same story a little bit. Like we already mentioned his name, but Randy Moss versus Thaddeus Moss, of like when Thaddeus Moss got offered by Marshall, he basically immediately turned that down, saying, "No, I'm not about to go to my dad's old school and be like, oh, you're the next Randy Moss, right?" But here Gunnar Rivers is coming to his dad's old school, where his dad is, without shadow of a doubt, the greatest quarterback, one of the greatest players to ever play at NC State. And here he is on official visit wearing his number 17. Like, he's not shying away one bit from the light that's being shown on him from his dad's legacy here. He's not shying away from it one bit. So do you see that as a benefit, or do you see that as, does it make you nervous at all?
No, I think, if it was an issue, I don't think he ever comes to state to begin with. If he was worried about, quote unquote, following in his dad's footsteps, wearing the number 17, he wears number 17 for his high school team. So that's really not out of the ordinary to wear it here. My biggest question is it is officially retired by NC State. Like, would they unretire it for Gunnar if that's what he chose to wear his number? Like, to me, that's the biggest question out of all this picture right here.
Dang, Ethan, I don't know, man, dude, that would be the craziest thing. And honestly, like, I would love it, but I don't know, man. I'm like, dude, I'd be like, man, go make your own legacy. Like I appreciate it to an extent, but I'm also like, I want to retire. I want Gunnar Rivers up there in the stands, number.
You could, if he comes to become the next Rivers, you can still retire Rivers 17 and then just put like an asterisk and a 2 next to it for 2 Rivers, like
or X2 times 2.
Yeah. I mean, it would still say Rivers.
That's true.
I'm sorry, Ethan, didn't mean to steal your thunder there, but what do you think about all this craziness?
I hadn't thought about it a ton. I think you kind of have to do it if he wants it.
Yeah. I'm sure Philip would give his permission.
Well, because they've had this
no
conversation.
Doubt.
Yeah. They've had this conversation.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
If not yet, I'm sure soon. Yeah. And it's interesting. I mean, Greg, when's the last time somebody wore 17? Clearly they have it available. It's it's clearly in the set of jerseys that they keep in the equipment room.
Or is it not? And they custom did this up real quick for the photo shoot, because it is Philip Rivers' kid. Like they will pull some special strings for this kind of stuff.
Little favoritism there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. So if they're willing, I mean, maybe they are going to do it, because that's a great point that you mentioned. Like, that number is retired. Like, it isn't like they had this thing laying around me going, all right, who's coming in for a photo shoot to wear 17? Like, nobody.
Right.
Yeah. No, nobody. Yeah. No. Well, yeah, because would they even let a recruit like put that jersey on? No
it's
shot.
Retired.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree with that.
So, like, I'm starting to think he is going to wear 17.
That'd be so sick. That'd be so sick. Yeah. No. And then Preacher Man pointing out the biggest question is, can he live up to the level of trash talk his dad had?
Well, you got to be able to play first before you can go smack talking people.
Yeah, true that. True that. So, but yeah, that that's
Yeah.
a that's probably maybe that's probably as high, if not even a higher bar uh
Hmm.
than play. Because man, I mean, Philip Rivers is known across the football universe as one of the best trash talkers
Of all time.
of all time. So yeah, that's quite the bar there. So, but yeah, and then Wee Jones saying, I didn't think there was any way we were going to get Gunner. Shocked me that he decided to come live in that shadow, but kudos to Dave and crew for that. And again, like it's going to be a huge, you know, huge responsibility on Dorn's shoulders here for sure. Because I mean, obviously, how head coaches handle quarterback decisions and things like that are already on such a huge pedestal as it is. But then you add into the fact that it's, Philip Rivers' son too. On top of that, it's woo, it's going to be a storyline to say the least once it gets here. So